Hey, you. Yeah, you sitting there scrolling on your phone, probably thinking the lights will always stay on. Newsflash, they won't. Sooner or later, some hurricane's gonna turn your Florida neighborhood into the dark ages, or a rolling blackout in California will make your Tesla nothing more than a driveway ornament. Power outages happen a lot. In fact, thanks to our antiquated power grid, the US has more blackouts than any other developed country. That's right, we're #1 in something we don't want to win. Whether it's a raging storm, a grid failure, or one sneaky squirrel chewing through a cable, you will eventually find yourself in the dark. The question is, are you going to be the helpless soul Googling what do I do in a blackout with 2% battery left, or the legend who's ready for anything? Today I've got 15 must-have prepping items that will keep you comfortable, safe, and maybe even laughing when the power goes out. This isn't your grandpa's bland disaster checklist. We're spicing it up with real talk, a dash of sarcasm, and actual product picks for each item because you know I've got opinions. Grab a snack, might I suggest something non-perishable, and let's get into it. You'll thank me the next time you're the only house on the block who actually prepared for the lights to go out. Ready? Let's do this. 1. Water. The Don't Die of Thirst kit. First up, water. Shocking, I know. Water is life. Yet so many people forget that when the electricity dies, your electric well pump or municipal water treatment might die too. You need a stash of H2O that doesn't rely on the grid. Rule of thumb, at least 1 gallon per person per day. Yes, that means if you've got a family of 4 bracing for a 3-day outage, you're hoarding 12 gallons of agua and probably wondering where to store it all. Pick up some sturdy containers like the Reliance 7-gallon Aquatainer, those blue jugs you see campers lugging around. They're cheap, tough, and stackable. Fill 'em up and tuck 'em away. Now don't go thinking you'll just fill a bathtub when things get dicey. Though a WaterBob bathtub bladder can hold 100 gallons if you have a heads up before a hurricane. But what if you run out or gasp didn't stock enough? Enter the water filter. A simple straw filter like the Life Straw or Sawyer Mini can literally be a lifesaver, letting you sip from dubious sources like a puddle or your water heater tank. Pro tip, that tank in your basement has 30-50 gallons of emergency water. Trust me, you don't want Giardia to be part of your outage experience. That's the kind of adventure you skip. So water and a way to purify it. Don't be the person who has to drink out of the dog bowl because you failed to prep. 2. Non-perishable food and a manual can opener, please. Alright, on to everyone's favorite topic, food. When the power's out, your fridge turns into a ticking time bomb of spoilage. Fun fact, an unopened fridge keeps food cold only about 4 hours, so eat the ice cream first, obviously. You need a stockpile of grub that doesn't require refrigeration or Gordon Ramsay-level cooking skills. We're talking canned goods, soups, chili, tuna, and yes, Spam, the apocalypse protein of champions. Peanut butter, jerky, granola bars, dried fruit, you name it. For the fancy preppers, throw in some freeze-dried meals like Mountain House beef stroganoff or a bucket of Augusten Farms emergency food. Just add hot water and boom, dinner is served gourmet camping style. But listen, all that canned goodness is useless without a manual can opener. I repeat, get a good old-fashioned hand-crank can opener. The swing-away is a classic that won't betray you. You do not want to be the person stabbing a can of beans with a kitchen knife because you only had an electric opener. Been there, done that, it's a horror show. Also, pro tip, have a portable camping stove or grill handy to heat things up. More on that later. Or embrace the fine art of cold cuisine. When boredom strikes in the dark, you'll be glad you hoarded those Snickers bars and instant ramen packs. Comfort food is called comfort for a reason, especially when you're waiting for the utility company to get its act together. 3. Flashlights. Because bumping into furniture hurts. Let's talk light. When you're suddenly plunged into darkness, you'll quickly realize how much you relied on that magical Edison juice. Sure, you could light a candle and pretend it's the 1800s, but one wrong move and you've reenacted the Great Chicago Fire in your living room. Seriously, the Red Cross says candles are a no-go in blackouts. So, flashlights it is. And not just one dinky flashlight that you think has batteries. You want multiple high-quality LED flashlights stashed around the house like hidden Easter eggs. Go for something reliable and bright, a Maglite LED. Bonus doubles as a club for whacking intruders or zombie squirrels. Or a tactical light from Streamlight or O-Light if you want to get fancy. Keep a flashlight on your nightstand, one in the kitchen, one near the breaker panel, you get the idea, and load up on extra batteries, we'll cover that in a sec. If you're relying on your cell phone flashlight, I'm gonna stop you right there. That'll last maybe 2 hours and drain your phone, a 2-for-1 failure. Instead, have a real flashlight with real batteries. When the lights go out, you'll be strutting around your house like Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, while your neighbors stub their toes in despair. Just try not to shine it directly in anyone's eyes, unless they deserve it. 4. Headlamps. Hands-free illumination, aka not dropping the flashlight in the toilet. Flashlights are awesome, but what about when you need both hands? Enter the headlamp, basically a flashlight you strap to your forehead, making you look like a dorky coal miner and a genius at the same time. When the power's out and you're trying to fix a blown fuse or just find the last can of soup in the pantry, you'll wish you had one of these. A good headlamp like the Petzl Tikka or Black Diamond Spot will light up wherever you're looking and free your hands for important tasks like giving your significant other a reassuring hug or aggressively shooing the cat off the counter. Headlamps are also clutch if you have to venture outside at night, checking on that weird noise in the yard, perhaps Bigfoot finally visiting. It keeps your hands free to carry other gear or, wield a baseball bat if it comes to that. Plus, if you're in a group, everyone wearing headlamps around a campfire during a blackout is chef's kiss peak prepper fashion. Just remember to take it off before you fall asleep. Waking up blinded by your own headlamp is not a fun time. 5. Lanterns. Light up the night campfire style. While flashlights and headlamps are great for directional light, sometimes you just want to light up a whole room and not feel like you're caving. That's where lanterns come in. Think of a lantern as your portable mini sun that sits on a table. Nowadays, LED lanterns are the way to go. No heat, long battery life, and bright enough to make your living room feel like high noon. The Coleman Quad LED lantern is a crowd favorite. The panels even detach for sharing. How cool is that? Or try the Streamlight Siege lantern for a super rugged waterproof option. Either will save you from playing shadow puppets on the wall out of boredom. If you're old school, you might consider a propane lantern, the classic Coleman gas lantern that hisses like a snake. They're bright as heck. Great for outdoor use, but I wouldn't recommend firing one up indoors unless you like carbon monoxide and open flames around your kids/pets/drunk Uncle Larry. Stick to battery or even solar rechargeable lanterns for indoor use. Set a lantern in the main area and suddenly a power outage becomes family storytelling night instead of sit quietly and stare at the dark night. Bonus, lanterns are way harder to trip over than candles. You're welcome. 6. Batteries. All the sizes, like you're stocking a Radio Shack. Remember all those fancy lights and gadgets? Useless without batteries. Outage rule. Whatever number of batteries you think you need, double it. Then double it again for good measure. You'll need AAs, AAAs, Ds, maybe 9 volts, basically an assortment that would make the Energizer Bunny proud. Get quality batteries. Duracell, Energizer, take your pick, and keep them in a cool, dry place. If you really want to up your game, invest in rechargeable batteries like Panasonic Eneloop cells with a solar charger. That way you won't burn through your stash in a prolonged outage. You can recharge by day and shine by night. Also, don't forget about the oddballs. Does your smoke detector or thermostat use batteries? Check now, not when it's beeping at 3 a.m. in a blackout. And whatever you do, store your batteries properly. No loose 9-volt rolling around in a junk drawer next to steel wool. Google that if you want to see impromptu fire starters. Having a ton of batteries means you can keep radios, flashlights, fans, and Game Boys, hey, gotta entertain the kids somehow, running. It's the closest thing to having electricity without actually having electricity. 7. Portable generator, your personal power plant. The generator, the holy grail of power outage prep. Owning one is like having a tiny loud superhero that runs on gasoline. When everyone else is sweating in the dark, you could be the one house on the block with the fridge humming and the lights glowing. If you live somewhere with frequent hurricanes looking at you, Gulf Coast, or those planned outages, hello California, a generator can be a lifesaver. The gold standard, a Honda EU 2200i inverter generator, super quiet, reliable, and so efficient, you might actually enjoy a blackout. But it's pricey, so if you're on a budget, brands like Champion or Generac make solid generators too. Now a couple of crucial points, safety and sanity. Always run your generator outside, far away from windows and doors, because carbon monoxide is the silent killer that doesn't care how badly you want to charge your phone. We don't need any Darwin Awards here. Also, keep fuel safely stored and rotated. Gas goes stale, who knew? And noise, be a good neighbor. Those Honda inverter types purr like kittens, but that old construction generator you got on sale sounds like a lawnmower married a jackhammer. Either warn your neighbors or invest in a long extension cord to put it farther away. A generator can power essentials like your fridge, a few lights, maybe a TV to catch the news or a fan to keep cool. It won't run your whole house unless you shelled out for a big standby unit, but hey, we're aiming for survive and thrive, not live like kings. When you do fire up that generator and your lights come on, try not to look too smug, or on second thought, go ahead, you earned it. 8. Portable power station, battery backup, the silent alternative. Maybe you can't have a gas-guzzling generator, apartment life, or you just don't want to deal with the noise and fumes. Say hello to the portable power station, aka a solar generator. Though that's a bit of a misnomer, it's basically a big battery in a box. Think Jackery Explorer 1000 or Goal Zero Yeti. These bad boys charge up when the power's on or via solar panels or your car, and then when the grid goes down, you've got a stash of electricity to tap into, quietly. No noise, no gas, no pull starting until your arm falls off. They can run things like your phone, laptop, LED lights, a fan, maybe even your fridge for a few hours depending on the size. The downside, once they're empty, unless you have a solar panel to recharge in daylight or the power comes back. So they're great for short outages or as a supplement to a generator. I keep one by my couch just to charge devices and run a lamp. It's so quiet I forget it's there until it beeps at 10% battery. If you invest in one, also grab a compatible solar panel for recharging off-grid. Jackery, for example, sells foldable panels that pair with their units. This is the high-tech prepper's choice. It's literally plug-and-play emergency power. Plus, you can one-up your neighbors by saying you've got a solar generator. It just sounds cool, even if it's basically a giant lithium battery in a briefcase. 9. Emergency radio, newsflash, information is power. When the cell towers are down or your phone is deader than a doornail, an emergency radio becomes your BFF. We're talking a battery-powered or hand-crank radio that can tune into AM, FEF, and NOAA weather channels. Why? Because you'll want to know if the outage is just your block or the whole state, and whether you should expect a tornado, hurricane, or Godzilla next. A top pick is the Midland ER310, or its little sibling, the Midland ER210. These things have AM/FM/NOAA, a hand crank, solar panel, and even a built-in flashlight and dog whistle, no joke, for search and rescue. Another solid option is the Kaito KA500 Voyager, a classic crank radio many preppers trust. The beauty of a crank radio is you don't even need batteries. A minute of cranking can give you several minutes of radio time. It's like the old Crank Start Model T, but for news. And don't worry, if you hate arm workouts, many of these radios also take regular batteries or charge via USB. Keep one in your emergency kit and fire it up when the world goes dark. There's something oddly comforting about hearing a crackly announcer say the same thing over and over. Power restoration efforts are underway. At least you know what's going on out there beyond your candlelit cave. Plus you can jam out to some tunes to lift the mood. Nothing says we'll get through this like a family sing-along to static-filled classic rock. 10. First aid kit. Boo-boos don't stop for blackouts. Emergencies have a twisted sense of humor. You're already dealing with no power, and then someone steps on a piece of broken glass or gets a nasty cut opening a can. That's why a first aid kit is non-negotiable. You need the basics: bandages, gauze, antiseptic wipes, adhesive tape, pain relievers, tweezers for those splinters from that firewood you grabbed, and any personal medications your family might require. You can buy a pre-made kit like the Adventure Medical Kits 2.0 or even a Red Cross branded kit, or assemble your own. Just make sure it's well stocked and stored where you can find it in the dark. Also consider the specific needs of your household. Got kids? Throw in some children's Tylenol and fun Band-Aids. Got a clumsy spouse? Extra gauze and an ace bandage might come in handy. If anyone relies on prescription meds, heart meds, insulin, etc., have a few days backup supply if possible. Power outages love to catch you when you're down to your last pill. And let's not forget a basic first aid manual, or at least a charged phone with a first aid app, assuming you have item 8 handling the charging. In a prolonged outage, hospitals might be overwhelmed or hard to reach, so handle those minor injuries at home. Patch up that boo-boo and carry on. You're not bleeding out on my watch. 11. Alternative cooking source. Eat like you're camping, not starving. Cold beans straight from the can will keep you alive, sure, but morale matters. A camp stove or alternative cooking method is a game changer when the power's out. If you have a gas grill in the backyard, you're already golden. Just make sure you have propane or charcoal. But for indoor safe, or at least porch safe cooking, consider a portable propane stove like the Coleman 2-burner camp stove, or a butane burner like the kind used at catering stations. These are compact, easy to use, and can boil water or heat up your Chef Boyardee like a champ. Just crack a window for ventilation if you're using it indoors, and never use a charcoal grill inside. You'd think that's obvious, but people have done it. Facepalm. Maybe you're a fancy prepper with a BioLite camp stove. It burns twigs and charges your phone at the same time. How very 21st century. Or perhaps a humble sterno canned heat setup for warming soup. Whatever floats your boat, just have a way to make hot coffee, cook some eggs, or heat water for those mountain house meals. Hot food = happy humans. And if you have a manual coffee grinder and French press, you can even have your gourmet coffee while the world is dark, because priorities. Remember to stock the necessary fuel, propane cylinders, butane cans, heck, even a pile of firewood for the fireplace or fire pit. Nothing lifts spirits in a blackout like a hot meal, and maybe some s'mores for dessert if you've got a flame to roast marshmallows. Bon appetit, Apocalypse Edition. 12. Weather protection. Staying warm or cool when HVAC sleeps. No power often means no heating or air conditioning. In winter, that's a one-way ticket to Frostbite City. In summer, it's a free sauna, not the fun kind. So prepare for temperature control the old-fashioned way. For cold weather, stock up on blankets. Think thick wool blankets or those fancy Mylar emergency blankets, the shiny ones that make you look like a baked potato. Even better, get quality sleeping bags rated for cold temperatures. A Teton Sports -20°F sleeping bag will have you toasty even if your house feels like a walk-in freezer. And if you really want to level up, consider a safe indoor propane heater like the Mr. Heater Buddy series. These are made for emergency indoor heating with proper ventilation and a carbon monoxide detector on guard, of course. They run on those small propane canisters and can keep a room comfy when your furnace is out to lunch. Now, for hot climates or summer outages, you're dealing with sweat, stench, and possibly heat stroke. Battery-operated fans can be a lifesaver. There are USB fans you can plug into that Item 8 power bank, or bigger portable fans that run on D batteries. Even a simple hand fan or spray bottle can help. And don't forget hydration. See Item 1, water. Staying cool is easier if you're not dehydrated. Pro tip, during a heatwave blackout, close your curtains, hang out in the lowest level of your home, heat rises, and maybe indulge in a cool wet towel around your neck. Conversely, in winter, close off unused rooms, camp out together in one room to conserve heat, family camping trip in the living room, yay, and layer up like an onion. The key is to not become a human popsicle or a melted puddle while waiting for the utility cavalry to arrive. Sanitation and hygiene, because you don't want a side of cholera. Just because the power's out doesn't mean your digestive system goes on vacation. Nature will call, and you'd better be ready to answer in a sanitary way. Water pumps might not work if you're on a well, and city water pressure can be iffy in extended outages, so toilets can become a problem. Solution? Store extra water specifically for flushing. Fill up that tub if you know a storm's coming, or get yourself a camp toilet setup. Even a simple 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat lid, like the Reliance Luggable Loo, lined with heavy-duty trash bags will do in a pinch. It's not glamorous, but neither is you-know-what backing up into your bathtub. Keep toilet paper, lots of it. There's no such thing as too much TP in an emergency, unless you plan on using leaves, not recommended, especially not the 3-leafed ones. Next up, personal hygiene. Power outage or not, you don't want to marinate in your own filth for days. Stock up on baby wipes or body wipes. Trust me, a pack of dude wipes or baby wipes can make you feel semi-human when a hot shower's not an option. Hand sanitizer, dry shampoo, deodorant, the stuff that keeps you from smelling like a swamp creature. If you have to deal with trash, have extra garbage bags and ties. Trash pickup might be delayed in a big event. And speaking of garbage, paper plates and disposable utensils can minimize dishwashing when hot water is a luxury. Less mess, less stress. Bottom line, staying clean and handling waste properly isn't just about comfort, it's about health. The last thing you need in a blackout is a bout of food poisoning or an outbreak of something gross because nobody washed their hands. Keep it clean, folks. 14. Tools and gadgets. The MacGyver kit. When the lights are out, things tend to go wrong in other ways too. Be ready to MacGyver your way through with some basic tools. At the very least, have a good multi-tool on hand. A Leatherman Wave or a Gerber multi-tool can handle cutting, screwing, gripping, bottle opening, important for that celebratory blackout beer, you name it. This stays on my belt whenever I'm in emergency mode. Pair that with a decent wrench and pliers, and you can tackle most minor household fixes even in the dark. And how could I forget the universal fix-it, duct tape? A big roll of Gorilla Tape or classic duct tape is worth its weight in gold. Broken window? Duct tape and cardboard. Flashlight slide off the table and crack? Duct tape it. Need to seal a leaky cooler or hang a tarp? Duct tape. It's not pretty, but it works, enough said. Also throw in some zip ties, a utility knife, maybe a handsaw if you're dealing with downed tree limbs post-storm. If you're really extra, a chainsaw for those big branches. Just be careful, a blackout is a bad time to need an ambulance. Finally, consider a fire extinguisher in your kit, because if you're lighting candles or running a stove or generator, the last thing you want is to literally add fuel to the fire. Having these tools handy turns you from a victim into a DIY hero when stuff starts breaking, and trust me, stuff always likes to break when you least want it to. 15. Extra cash. Electricity may fail, capitalism won't. Last but definitely not least, cold hard cash. In a prolonged power outage, ATMs, credit card readers, Apple Pay, all that digital money magic could be useless. Stores that manage to open, maybe running on generator, will likely only take cash. So keep a stash of small bills in a safe spot. Think $1s, $5s, $10s. Not everyone can break a $100 in the apocalypse. Whether you need to buy a bag of ice, pay for gasoline from that one station running on a generator, or bribe your neighbor's kid to lend you their battery-powered fan, cash talks when electronics balk. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. Even $100 squirreled away can be a lifesaver. And try not to broadcast that you have it. You don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry at your door asking to borrow money when the ATM screens are blank. Also, keep some coins if you have any old payphones around. Nah, just kidding. Good luck finding a working payphone in 2025. The point is, money still makes the post-electric world go round, at least for a while. So be ready to revert to 20th century transactions, paper, metal, and a handshake, optional. You'll get what you need a lot faster than the guy swiping a dead credit card at a dead machine and wondering why nothing's happening. So there you have it, 15 must-have items to turn a power outage from a nightmare into, well, maybe just a weird camping trip in your own home. The truth is, outages aren't a matter of if, but when, and a little preparation goes a long way. By now, you're practically a blackout warrior, ready to take on hurricanes, blizzards, blackouts, or whatever Mother Nature or our aging power grid throws at you. If you found this helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, smash that subscribe button for more no-nonsense prepping tips with a side of humor. Got your own power outage survival stories or gear recommendations? Drop a comment below. I love hearing how you folks cope when the lights go out. And hey, check out my other videos for more ways to stay prepared, from building an emergency bug-out bag to prepping on a budget. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and remember, fortune favors the prepared and subscribed. Until next time, keep on prepping, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't get left in the dark.